created this paper where I wrote some quotes, some ideas about my artistic vision. I wrote about how consistency is really important to me and remaining authentic to myself is really important. I think that I've had some more revelations since then, and I want to elaborate on them. An idea came to me earlier this morning and I thought to myself, I want to become my own favorite artist. And then the part of me that had this thought that I want to become my own favorite artist, this sort of shift in perspective in the way that I think about myself as an artist. I think I have a lot of imposter syndrome. I can't seem to sit here and get a thought out to save my life, but I'm feeling very inspired to make something, so I think what I'm gonna do, I will chat while I draw. Hi, I'm Han Samwich, and today I want to talk about becoming my own favorite artist. Okay, so I read a Father Bronx quote this morning. Let me read it to you real quick. The quote says, "You are just as great as anyone out there you admire. I promise you. The only difference between you and them is if you choose not to persevere. It's okay if you haven't arrived yet. You will, as soon as you find the link to connect you to the other side, or let it find you. But you have to persevere. It takes 100% to get to 49% and 1000% to get to 90% and a whole lot of luck to get to 100. Persevere." I read this quote and I really started thinking about what is the difference between me and the artist that I admire. And the thing is, the artists that I admire, I guess the main presence that I see of them is on social media, on YouTube, on Instagram, on their Patreon. And there's some artists that I really admire and I see them doing all this work and I think, what's the difference between me and them? Maybe they've been doing it longer, maybe they went to art school, maybe they have these skills that I don't have or haven't acquired yet, but it feels like the main difference is that maybe they're working on it all the time. They're always thinking about their art, they're always thinking about how they can share their art, how they can get their message out through their art. I'm prioritizing other things, and so I've been thinking, how do I sort of embody this all-encompassing energy of the artist that I see the artists I admire doing? And I've been thinking about how to sort of do this, and a thought came to mind earlier today, and I thought to myself, I have to become my own favorite artist. And this thought felt revolutionary to me. It maybe doesn't sound like anything, or maybe it sounds like a really simple idea, or maybe it sounds conceited or like I'm full of myself. I'm actually not sure what it sounds like, because to me it felt revolutionary. It felt like, wow, I do have to become my own favorite artist. I have to figure out what her day looks like. I have to figure out what she's thinking about, what she's consuming, what she's reading, what kind of art she's looking at, what kind of art she's making. I have to make the kind of stuff that I love to see. I have to embody things like consistency, authenticity, these things that I really value. I have to really figure out a way to show that through my art and through the things that I'm making. I think the idea of becoming my own favorite artist is similar to the idea of how some people create an alter ego. I think for me, I have a lot of imposter syndrome, and so the idea of an alter ego is sort of like, oh, I'm acting, I'm being her, I'm being the artist. It's not me. I'm able to sort of act as someone else. This sort of helps me to alleviate my imposter syndrome, because it's not me. She can do it. She's the artist I dream of being. She's my favorite artist, so how would she be putting her work out there? How would she be creating content? How would she be scheduling her days and prioritizing her art? And I think thinking about it this way was a huge perspective shift to me, because I'd been trying to figure out how to do the things that my favorite artists are doing. How do they create consistently? How do they do all these things? But for some reason, this little mindset shift of becoming my own favorite artist is really changing. It's really changed my perspective. I don't know. Today it's January 31st. I had a lot going on in January, and suddenly January's over. I feel like I missed out on creating a vision board and New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. I just didn't do them in time. And now that it's about to be February, I'm feeling really inspired to make a February vision board. This idea of becoming my own favorite artist is really making me feel inspired to make that vision board and to make a schedule. And I use the program Notion too, and I just feel like I'm feeling really inspired to sort of like plan out my whole thing, you know, like becoming my favorite artist means creating an aesthetic that I absolutely love, creating art that I absolutely love, having a routine that I love. Like, if I'm my favorite artist, I get to do whatever it is that she does, and I get to love my art, and I get to love my process, and I get to love sharing my process. And it feels so important to me to get to be able to do that, and to be able to create a world with my art and share it with others, to, you know, inspire people to create their own world with their art, or even just in their life. And I don't know, I'm feeling very inspired. I'm feeling reinvigorated. I'm feeling like I can become my own favorite artist, and I'm feeling so inspired by the artists that I love because they've done that. They've created these art worlds in their lives where their whole life is their art, and I want that for me too. And I'm not exactly sure how to go about it yet, but I have some big ideas, especially now that I've, you know, sort of had this perspective shift where I can be my own favorite artist. There's another quote I read. Well, you may have heard me say it before. There's a quote that I love by Alan Chekhov where he says, if you want to work on your art, work on your life. And I've really been working on my life, and the last couple of days or so I've been feeling like my art has kind of, you know, I still practice my little drawings every day, but it feels like my art has been feeling a little less inspired, and now thinking about this idea of becoming my own favorite artist is making me feel re-inspired to make art that I really love. Just, you know, to sit down and make art that brings me joy. And so I think that through working on my life, I really have been working on my art all along, because now I'm here and I'm getting to make exactly what I want. There's one more quote by Father Bronx that is kind of along the same lines as of if you want to work on your art, work on your life. And he said, every day as artists, we make hundreds of decisions that reflect our self-loathing. We eat wrong. We don't take care of our bodies. We don't sleep enough. We destroy our brains with screens. And like zombies, we do it day in and day out, robbing ourselves of the energy to make art. And by we, I mean you. Yes, you. And thinking about like all of the things I do that are not sort of conducive to art making, like going on my phone, like eating bad, wasting my energy on things that aren't really problems, getting wrapped up in stuff that doesn't matter. You know, it's draining me from creating this world of my art that is my desire. I've really just been thinking about that a lot too. And so I'm really, for the rest of today, gonna think about how I can become my own favorite artist in February. And I am really excited to share more about that idea too, because it feels huge to me. So, you know, I'm gonna let that cook in my brain a little bit. I'm gonna let that one simmer and hopefully come back to you with a more, maybe a more cohesive explanation, but I hope it makes sense for now. To me, becoming my own favorite artist is really thinking about what my favorite artist does, how she lives her life, what she values, what her routines look like, and then embodying that. And so I'm really going to be reflecting on that for the rest of the day, and I'm super excited to spend February becoming my own favorite artist, and also sharing about how I'm doing that, what sort of routines I'm incorporating, and what sort of perspectives and visions I have for myself as my own favorite artist. So I hope you'll join me in becoming whoever it is you want to be too. As always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for seeing my art. Let me know what you think of this video, and I will be becoming my own favorite artist. Until next time.